Hi everyone, my name's Barb Vecto and I will be your guide through LBS 850 this spring. I meant to make a really good impression by looking, very professional. It's freezing, so I'm wrapped in blankies, but my blankies will be less obvious as the course goes on and it gets warmer. But it's, the dead of winter, so here we are. Anyway, let us take a look at what is expected for this class. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what I can see, and we'll go through this. All right, so this is the modules page, which hopefully is where, your landing page is on Canvas. If not, I would set that up. I haven't published the course yet. Ooh, sneak peek, but by the time you see this video, obviously, the course will be published. So the first section up here is introductions and rubrics. I'm going to go through the whole introduction thing up here, but the class rubrics, please read this. I'm going to give a little overview, but you're going to want to go back and make sure that you're really following, the rubrics as they are. I'm not a huge proponent of giving, very specific information because this is a very student-directed class, but the non-negotiables are in the class rubrics. So we'll look at those and then getting to know you. Actually, I can just show you this. I'm going to be putting a post up here myself before you get up here, but I just want to know who you are because we're in an online course that's non-synchronous. It takes a little work to get to know each other, so this is a great starting point. Who are you? Where are you located? Are you currently in a library or a classroom? If not, what do you do? Very curious. And then this is really important because where do you fall on the technology spectrum? Are you a newbie? Are you someone who's grown up with it, in the digital native kind of thing? It's good for me to know in the class when I'm putting things together because we do some partnering and things like that. And then what do you like to do when you're not taking classes? I would love it if you'd put a picture up so I, can get a little visual in my head of what you look like, but that's your call. I'm going to mention the help topic or the help chat. If you ever have a question for the course, you can feel free to go into the the Canvas email. I check that daily when I'm teaching. So that's my SSU email. I try to remember. I don't like the format, but I do check this. So if it's something that's just specific to you and you know this, go here. But if it's a question about the course itself, put it in here. You never know who else you're going to be helping. All right, so let us look at the introduction just so I can make sure that I don't miss anything. Welcome. So there are 4 different sections for the course. There's change as a constant in the school library setting, which is really just week 1 and or module 1 rather, which is also week 1, I guess, if we're being specific about it. But that just looks at how the job has changed over time. COVID put a huge, huge wrench into so many things, but it also changed the job a little bit, changed perception of the job. Then the second one, the most meaty section of the course is online applications and their relevance in the school library setting. This is where we look at tools, apps, and what they do in school, specific to school libraries. There's a lot of, again, exploration that you'll be doing on your own, but our discussion board, which is really the sort of attendance part of our course, you're going to be out foraging, and then you're going to bring your nuts and berries back so that everybody can see them in the. Sorry, that sounds horrible, but you're going to bring whatever you find out there, whatever tools, apps, multimedia stuff. We're looking at adaptive and assistive technology, which is specifically to look at how to help kids who aren't necessarily the playing field is not level, is what we're saying, and these are ways that we can help kids who are differently abled. But anything that we look at, bring everything back to the discussion and share it with your classmates. Then we have got, you are a teacher. You know this. It's part of the job. But we're going to look specifically at teaching with technology, embedded in our work. So there's going to be a lesson plan. And those of you who are coming from the classroom are probably thinking, I've not made a lesson plan in 12 years. And those of you who are not from education are like, wait, what now? What's this lesson plan thing? It'll all become clear. It's weeks from now. Don't worry about it. And then the other thing that we're going to do is professional development, which is one of my favorite aspects of my job. Is kind of a know-it-all. You'll see it for sure. But teaching teachers and teaching community members, teaching administrators, if in fact they can be taught, you're gonna put together something to bring what you've learned so far to disseminate it to your public. Then managing physical resources, which is cataloging. But a lot of what we're doing is copy cataloging. There is a required book. Oh, look, we're right here with resources. Allison Kaplan's Catalog It. This is, yikes, more than 10 years old, but nothing really school library specific that I know of has come out since then. And it really is, I mean, it's kind of a slog, but it's also some people, myself included, really like the overview of cataloging. And when we're doing that section, that's weeks 11, and it's weeks 11 and 12, weeks 10 and 11. I'm not sure. Oh yeah. They will be, we'll be going through that. And I'll try to add some things that are a little more fun. I've also got Renee Hobbs' Create to Learn. Usually I say, oh, it's a great book. It's recommended. I love everything Renee Hobbs does. It's almost 10 years old. I would say, try to get it from the library if you can to look through it. But there are other things that probably can give you the same information. And the specific chapters that I do want you to read, I will provide those in PDF format. So you are going to need to purchase or borrow or something. You're going to need to get your paws on Kaplan because we're going to use that a lot. And then Hobbs, you may want to. Okay, assessments. Again, very heavy on independent explorations. There's 3 methods of assessment in the class. The first one is your assignments. There are specific assignments, and I'll show you on the modules page, I guess. But these are, specific to what the content is. There's not one every module doesn't have an assessment. So the modules that don't have assessments are going to be heavier on the exploration. Then we've got the discussion boards, which is consistent every week. And when we look at rubrics, I will go over that. This is the how you attend the course. Even though most of the feedback you're going to get is during the assessment, the discussion is really, that's where the big money is, as they say on, what do they say then on? Is it Wheel of Fortune? Anyway, the discussion is where I feel like the meat of the class is. It's my favorite part, and it's very important to me. Then there's a blog, and the other course I teach the young adult section of like the literature course for this program. Some of you may already have taken it. I've seen some familiar names in my attendance list. For that one, you can kind of use whatever blogging format you want. You can use TikTok, Instagram, I don't care, whatever. For this one, I really want you to do something that is text-based that allows you to put in images and that allows you to put live links. So I'm going to go in a lot of detail in the week 1, which is when we're going to build this, but just be aware that it's coming. Something that you have to update every week. And the idea behind it is that this is where you're going to be able to go back, because I can assure you, you're never going to go back into once this course is over, you're never going to go back into Canvas and look at this course. But if you have a blog, and especially if you continue to use it, this is where you'll go back to access the information and be like, oh man, I saw something like that in Barb's course. I remember, and you're going to go back and find it. It's also nice because once we get them up, I'll give you a spreadsheet with everybody else's blog on it so that you can see what your other classmates are looking at as well. And you can also double purpose your blog. If you want to put your blog post up as one of your discussion posts, if it's appropriate, that's fine. I don't mind a little double dipping here and there. All right, so yeah, the motivation for exploration is that some of you are experts, some of you are newbies. I already mentioned that. Okay, timing. So this is a 14-week course, 3 graduate credits. Doing the math, you're supposed to spend 135 hours on content. That includes attending and reading and all that stuff. So that's about 9.9.5 hours a week. So just bear that. There's some weeks there are so many things I just can't bear to get rid of them. Not, I'll be very clear about what's required, but there's a lot of other stuff too because so much of this is based on what you're going to use, what your you know pedagogical I almost said theology. What's the word? For your own philosophy, like what you think you're going to use with students. So I want you to follow your own pathways. It's really, really easy to fall down the rabbit hole here. So do like set yourself a timer if you need to do that. Give yourself breaks. 9.5 hours is a lot of time. One of the requirements for discussion is that you go in at least 2 different days, 3 different times. This is in part so that you're not just, saving it all for one day. I know that sometimes that can feel more convenient, but it can also, make it difficult for you to sort of pull back a little bit and have a healthier sort of attitude about the work. All right. I use articles and exploration, so you're going to need to keep track of your time. You don't have to, tell me I did 6 hours. But if you find that you're not hitting things, if you find that you're not doing as much as you want, maybe let me know and we can see, if there's something going on with that. And if you run out of stuff, then that means you're really good at tech. Keep going, find more stuff, get out there. But 9.5 hours a week is what you should be spending on this. All right, then the discussion format, we'll look at that in a second. I will mention this. You don't want to do a big post of text in the discussion that has like 4 different ideas, okay? You want to put out 4 different posts because it makes it easier I allow for threaded responses. It is graded, but this way it feels more conversational. If you have one big post with 4 ideas, then all of a sudden who's responding to what, it can just get messy. So if you have 4 big ideas, do 4 specific posts and it's to your benefit, as I'll show you when we get to the rubric. Then help, I already mentioned, you can email me here or go to the little help guy up there. Shall we look at the rubrics? Here they are. Please read. I'm desperate for you to read these rubrics, but I will also go over them right here. All right. This is how you have your presence in the class. It's your attendance. It is a significant part of your grade. There's 7 points. You can earn up to 7 points. And most people end up going beyond the 7 points. I mean, it doesn't do you any good, but I always like it when that happens because I'm like, oh, yay, they're talking. So your initial post is 1 point. If you have 4 ideas, make 4 initial posts. Oh, look, there's your 4 points already. Okay, then responses. Very important because people like to be, you need to read each other's stuff. This is not a big, I just took a class, I just did a program at a university that will remain nameless, but it's not Salem State, where you couldn't post in the discussion boards, and it was on online format. You couldn't post in the discussion boards. I mean, you had to post before you could see anybody else's. And then it was so frustrating to me. Like, I want you to read each other's stuff. And sometimes you're going to have the same idea. It's perfectly okay to respond, me too. Just add your own spin. I also like blardy blardy blar. You can also, that's a 2-point post. Most of your posts are going to be 1 or 2 points. A 3-point post is when you agree, you talk about something else, but then you take that step beyond. You say something insightful that like rejuvenates the conversation. I know that I'm going hard on these the discussion, but it's I think the most significant aspect of the class. All right, let's see. At least 2 different days, ideally 3, and at least 3 different times. I mean, well, you can't get the 7 points if you don't do at least 3 posts. All right, and depending on how people do it, sometimes I get all like, no, people are not posting properly, and then I change it up and I'm like, you can't get any credit unless you post at least 3 different times, so just be aware of that. All right, okay, then your blog. Each post, so I already told you, Blogger, Google's Blogger is great. WordPress, I'm not sure about live links with Instagram, but if it works for you, you can do that. When you're posting in the grading tool, which actually, you know what, I'm gonna do this because I'm already there. This is not a student view. Okay. In the grading tool, it's going to just give you the option to put a link up there. I want that link to be for your specific blog post. Okay. So I'm just going to show you because, oh my goodness. Okay. So here is a blog that I write, Deep Valley Confidential. So say that you are, and this is just book reviews. Okay. So say that this is your blog. Make sure that you're not in the editing tool, and then you're going to click on the specific blog post title, and then you're going to capture that URL. I cannot say this. I cannot emphasize this enough. You must be out of the editing tool when you post your blog URL. Okay. All right. And it needs, it needs to be for that specific module because you might work ahead, and you are welcome to work ahead as much as you want. Do I mention due dates? Okay. I thought I did in the rubrics. Due dates, the discussion, non-negotiable. You have to do the discussion in the week that it's assigned. Everything else, I understand that life is, can get away from you. I don't mind late work. I don't love it because it makes a little more work for me to have to go back and see it. But you can do it if you need to. I don't take points off unless it becomes a chronic thing. But you don't get any feedback on anything. So just be aware of that. All right, then there's your essays, projects, and presentations. So these, I'm going to give you the information that you need to specifically have in the weekly module. So you'll get more specific stuff. But I will tell you, Salem State wants us to have an AI policy. I didn't really write a policy, but what I did was I looked at the different modules we have, and these are the times when AI will be possibly of use to you. I'm really conflicted because it's very convenient and it is everywhere, and we need to get used to it. But also the cost to the environment is significant, and it really has me rethinking the whole AI is great thing. And I also had a student last year who refused to create AI generated images because she believed that all AI art is theft, and she had a visual arts background. And my son, one of my sons is an artist and is like, yeah, they're just taking other people's work, unattributed. So I don't want you to use AI if it goes against your moral code, but I do think for most of us, it's something that we kind of realistically are going to be using. So you're not going to be forced to use it, but there are certain strictures about how you're going to use it. So like for module 5, you're going to be doing media annotations. You can ask AI to help you find specific media that you're going to be using. Anytime you use, obviously Google searches are now AI generated, chatbots are AI generated, but if you're using a specific, ChatGPT or the like, I want you to put your prompt in. So I know what it is. If you're doing your images in your blog, and they're AI generated, I want to know what your prompts are. Always put your prompt. That's how you attribute AI usage, at least for this class. So in your social media plan, yeah, I don't think it'll be super effective, but you can use it for editing. Your response paper, which is in module 7, which is really where I give the biggest feedback probably. That's all you. That's all you, baby. I don't want you using AI for that unless it's maybe a little brainstorming, maybe a little editing, but nothing like that. But then when you get to your student technology promotion project and you're doing your lesson plan, and again, those of you who are in education, your lesson plan, we had to turn one in. We had a professional development, and they said, bring a lesson plan for a lesson you use this year. And we're all like, oh, when was the last time anybody made a lesson plan? So everybody's was AI generate. We put in what we did, and then AI just put it in a format. There's a specific Salem State format, and you can use AI to get you in that. But if you are unfamiliar with lesson plans, if you haven't done one before, I would strongly urge you. It's just a fill in the blanks kind of thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing in this class has to be perfect. It's for you. It's not for me. Okay. This class is for you. And the grades are based on do or not do. If you turn something in and it's not good enough to get credit, I will tell you this is not good enough to get credit. you can resubmit, and you can always resubmit, you know. Then your professional development presentation. I mean, you can use AI as like your co-writer, but again, prompts. Um, oh, Module 12 is choose your own adventure. It's kind of weirdly plugged in into the cataloging section because the Mass School Library Association conference ideally is what you're going to do if you can get your district to pay for it, or if you are independently wealthy and can just pay for it yourself. But if you can't, you'll be working on an independent project, and that's a great place to do your deep dive into AI. And then your OPAC proposal and OPAC acceptance letter, you can use them for stylistic things. Do not use AI to generate discussion or blog posts. This content should consist of your own thoughts and experience. Okay. All right. I have probably talked for a very, very long time, but I think that's all you need to know. Hopefully, you're watching this at double the speed, or this is just we've spent so much time together. All right, I'm looking forward to this class a lot. I really enjoy, the discourse. I enjoy seeing what people come up with. If you need to reach out, you know where to find me, and I'll see you on the discussion boards. Bye.